That's exciting. There's the gentleman filming me as I am filming him. Welcome to That's What She Said. We are, if you should have been on Facebook Live watching the pre-show. But we are indeed on Facebook Live. We are testing out new technology because we think the world is a marvelous, wonderful place. And if you have toys, you might as well play with them. So, but I'm going to put this down now, and so let me say goodbye to Facebook Live while we roll the opening credits. This program is brought to you through the kind support of the Friends of That's What She Said. Support BCTV by visiting bctv.org/support.
It used to be great, now it's not so great, but it's still pretty great. Reading. Ate pretzels non-stop and pot pie no top. More dessert till we drop. Perks. Did they really say that? They did not say that. Yeah, they did say that. That's what she said.
Well, here we are, and just the same place we were just moments ago. And we have, of course, me, Jane Street, and a wonderful Sheila, and
Martha,
and
Nicole,
and there's someone in the fifth seat. Who are you?
Heather Miller.
Welcome to the show, Heather.
Heather.
Heather is someone who we met at our favorite watering hole, Suburban Tavern. We're actually on the next show going to have an interview with the owner of that, Gary, who's a wonderful man. But it's a lovely place to go drink and eat. You can eat there too. I mostly drink. But we were there and we met Heather, who works there, and she was just so fascinating that we thought, what the heck, you need to be on our show. So, welcome to That's What She Said. So, you really have had a fascinating life. Can you just give us a little picture of that?
Well, in about a week, I will be retiring from the United States Army.
Wow.
I have been in the Army for 17 years, and I did 3 deployments, 2 to Iraq, 1 to Afghanistan. I have 3 lovely children, and now I'm currently working at the Suburban Tavern.
And loving every minute of it, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Now, Gary is your stepfather?
Yes, he is.
Indeed, and he's a lovely, lovely man.
Yes.
So that is just amazing, because I don't think anybody in this group, I don't know how many, maybe some people who are watching can picture this, but it's hard for us to conceive of Afghanistan and Iraq in a sort of real way. We construct what we know from the news. The news, the images, the TV. Tell us something about what it was like over there.
Well, for the military perspective, it actually, yes, you were in the danger zone, but in Iraq you felt a little safer. You were behind the gates on the bases, you had the protection, but once you went outside that wire is when you realized that you're not in the States. You're not at a basic base in the United States. When you went outside of the wire, it was a whole different culture. And for us, we were looked at, and it was very difficult to understand and trust those people just being in that situation. So you kind of did what you did what you had to do, and you went on.
So you didn't actually have much relations with the...
Not outside of the bases. We did go to some of the bases, and we did pay some of the local nationals with the payments from the United States, but it was not on a daily basis, no.
Now, you had a fascinating job.
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, according to the United States Army, I'm a financial manager, but I did not sit behind a desk. I would go outside of the wire from border to border of Iraq and Kuwait, and I would actually transport money from the different banks. We actually went to a couple banks in Iraq and then brought it back to our bases. We would go outside of the wire, and we would, what we called were jingles or money runs, and we would pay the soldiers in advance pays.
In cash?
Depending on which time I was there, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's, I think, one of the things that struck us in that we don't think about all the other people doing things for the military. I mean,
You only think about the soldiers, the people
Indeed.
that are on.
and there are so many others like yourself in that combat area
Yes.
that
Keep
have
them going.
that yes.
Keeps it alive.
I don't want to say support because you're integral to the process, but
It is, but it isn't. I mean, in the units that I was with, I was considered a soldier support unit, which, yes, I was still there, but I supported the front lines. I was not on the front lines, but I supported them. That's probably the easiest way to say it.
But you're still trained military.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've done everything that I've had to do, the same as the male soldiers that are down there, downrange.
Have you seen things change for the better with women in the service since you've been in 19 years? Or
17.
17, I'm sorry.
I've seen some things change. I've seen, for the most part, for the better. But there are still some stereotypical issues with some of the males.
Sure.
But, I mean, I have seen a lot of change.
Good.
So.
Good.
That's a wonderful thing that, because, I mean, it has been for so long a male-dominated, although not really, because we've had female pilots, we've had,
Right.
but, and they are just, from, I think, World
But you
War
know,
I, just
but you
starting to
know,
get some
There are
recognition.
no records of the women, even in Vietnam. We don't have records of how many women served in Vietnam.
That's frightening.
I know it is frightening.
That's
It is.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm never speechless. Why am I speechless? So, what? I have to ask you about this because you told us about it, and I think it's fascinating. What is the most amount of money you transported around?
Oh, yeah.
I have, in my name, possession, $7.5 million.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, right? Wow.
And to this day, I still have the paperwork.
Holy
Wow.
mackerel.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I would be shaking in my boots. Like, I wouldn't know whether to run for the hills or what.
That was probably
Sheila works
the
at a
worst
Oh my
experience
gosh.
because of the stress that you were.
Yeah,
Because
that's
you were
huge.
personally responsible for
Yes. Yes.
So, would you be a part of like a convoy running with this money
Yes.
from one place to another? How long would these missions run?
How long were we outside of the wire?
Yeah.
Sometimes days, but you were on the road usually no more than about 6 hours at a time.
And how many vehicles in your convoy?
It really depended. I was with sometimes 5 vehicles, sometimes 15. It just
Whoa.
depended on what other services we're
We're
getting.
going.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
we did a lot of our missions with the postal operations.
Okay.
Did anything ever happen to jeopardize you or the funds you were transporting during the?
There's been attacks on convoys, yes.
How long were you in Afghanistan?
I was in Afghanistan for 5 months.
And there was a vast difference between.
Oh, yes. I was in Iraq from 2004 to 2006.
Wow.
And then I was in Iraq again 2008 to 2009. And then Afghanistan was in 2014. And there was a difference for me between Iraq and Afghanistan. Afghanistan was a whole different beast. And I don't understand. I can't really explain it because I don't know. In Iraq, I think I felt a little more safer, but it wasn't, it still wasn't the comforting safe, so.
Something we actually haven't talked about, and how is the transition, because we hear about it, but how is the transition from that sort of thing to coming back and having to deal with just
Normal life.
your normal day-to-day life? If you don't want to talk about that, that's fine.
No, it's very challenging, very trying. I know for myself, going from me dealing with my soldiers, having them as my responsibility, and then coming home to, my soldiers are anywhere from 21 to 40 something, and then coming home to my 3 kids who are all under the age of 15. That was very, very difficult of a transition for me, because
You were used to dealing with adults.
yes, the adults, I could tell them to do something and they did it. They didn't challenge me, they didn't question me. My children, they tend to challenge me and question me.
That's their job.
Children tend to do.
That's what they're supposed to do.
They like to
And-
push buttons.
Yes. And
They have to.
They, and it's part my fault. I've tried to buy my children's time back. So for me, I tended to overdo the spending. And now it's to the point where I am home and I'm trying to back out of that now. And they don't quite get that. My youngest, when I was home prior to me leaving this last time, he was with me all the time. We'd go to the store, he'd get a toy. I didn't care, he'd get a toy. And now he goes to me, Mommy, can I get a toy? No. Because I've realized that this is the end of the road and I'm not going to be leaving again, and I can't keep buying the love. So, but for a while, that was my mentality.
I mean, having met you on a number of occasions and having good conversations with you, I think you have a lot of love to give them without having to buy them that.
Yes, yes.
You're a pretty remarkable woman.
Thank you.
I've been watching your son while you've been talking, and he's just really glad to have you home. He'd like the toys, but he'd rather have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him.
Aw, he agrees.
Adorable. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart. That was cute.
Now, is Damien your youngest?
He is my youngest, yes. Yes, he is.
We met Heather, Sheila, or
That's me.
Nicole and I met Heather. Sorry, you were great on Saturday.
That senior time of life. Cheers to that, Martha.
We had a production meeting on Saturday morning, a breakfast, and that's when Nicole and I met Heather. I hated to see the end of the breakfast because I would have liked to have just sat and talked to you for the next 6 or 7 hours.
I mean, it was a
She's
longer breakfast than we
amazing.
usually have. It
She's
was-
an amazing woman. What you have to do, what you did to be where you were, I can honestly say I have none of that. I could not, at any point in
Same.
my life, have done that.
I don't
just
either.
could not. I mean, I've done a
Yeah.
lot of things, and I could do a lot of
I mean, but I
dangerous
think
things,
we
but
all
I
have
couldn't do that.
our special
I think so. That
Strengths.
takes a
things.
very
but
special
this,
person.
I mean, but indeed, yours is so
That's
out
remarkable.
of any of our usual realm of understanding. That what was your favorite thing about being deployed?
Whew. Wow.
If there was one, I mean, you went back, so there must have been some sort of calling for you to.
I had no choice.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I guess probably my favorite thing was knowing that I made a difference, knowing that I was doing what I was supposed to do. I signed up in the military before anything happened. So for me, I could have gotten out when I was done my first enlistment, and I chose not to. And that was in 2005 is when I re-enlisted, and actually I was in Iraq when I did it. So for me, I was very proud of what I did, and I had a lot of influence on other people's lives. So, I mean, I had a lot of soldiers in passing, and that was what I was very proud of.
When you enlist, how long do you enlist for? Like you said, your first enlistment, and then you had another one. How long does that?
It really depends on. There's a couple different ways you can enlist. There's a 6 and 2, which is 6 active duty, 2 inactive, and then there's a 4 and 4. I believe there's a 2 and 2. I'm not exactly sure. I know I did a 6 and 2. So, and when I was in Iraq, I hit my 6 years, and I went and re-enlisted again. And then that was for another 8 years, and then I extended for 2, and then I re-enlisted again. So.
Wow.
Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much. I mean, what is your dream now that you're back?
To be a mom.
Oh,
to
that's
be a
awesome.
mom. And I want to go back to school. I want to pursue a degree in clinical social work
Good.
Good for
and
you.
help other people now. So that's what I'm going to do.
It's pretty epic.
That's
That
wonderful.
is pretty epic.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Is there anything that...
Wow. We could just go on and on.
Indeed.
I'm totally in awe of this woman.
Is there
You're
anything
impressive.
we should know? We have so many misconceptions about
Military life.
the military life, the various wars we're in. Is there any wisdom you can impart into the world situation at present? If that could be any more vague,
If you're going to go into the military, just make sure you're doing it for your own right reasons. Don't do it because anybody wants you to do it. Make sure your heart's there, because I've seen a lot of people go in for the wrong reasons and not have a positive outcome in the military life. I mean, once you get in and you do that, it's not really a bad life. Financially, it's not that great. But I think the emotional and the mental is a lot more rewarding than the financial. So,
how is, because we see this on the news, how is the care of our returning staff when they return?
well, the VA system has come a long way.
That's good to hear.
I do know from personal experience that it has drastically come a long way. When I actually came back in 2014, I involuntarily got medevac back, and I was sent to Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland. And for me, I did have a great experience there for my treatment. My medical treatment was fantastic and probably the best you can get. So that part of it, I would definitely say is great. Going back a couple of years, it was a little different, but now I think it's fantastic.
And aftercare, since you're home?
I will actually be going to the VA system in our area, and it is everything that was visited medically in Maryland is actually going to be visited through the VA system.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
We have a caller. Who's with us, please? Hello, welcome to That's What She Said.
Hello. Yeah, I was going through the channels and everything, and you're talking about the military, and this is being Memorial Day weekend coming up. Memorial Day weekend coming up, about the military, et cetera. I knew guys who were in the military for 25 years, and they did okay. They did okay this night, everything. And then I have another friend. He was in the Air Force, and when it came time for military benefits, he was denied. And I said, "Why were you denied?" He said, "Because I wasn't in during wartime." I said, "What?" I said, "You were denied benefits because I was not in during wartime." I have a comment about military and everything else. You enlist in the armed forces. I don't care which one you go in. Okay, you put that uniform on. You graduate from basic training. I was never in the armed forces. Okay, I was never in there. I wanted to join the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old, but I was too short. And it was during the Vietnam era, and of course, back in those days, it was a chaos anyway. But anyway, when you put on that uniform, it don't matter what branch you are in, you should be entitled to benefits, whether it's a war or non-war. Does that make my case there, or what?
Well, let's take it to the woman in the know. I would think that would be the case.
I agree with you, yes. Depending on...
Thank you for calling, by the way.
Depending on the discharge codes and all that, I can't answer that knowing a definite answer. But I agree with you. If you put that uniform on, yes, you are entitled to the same benefits I get. And I'm getting retired out. But yes, I was in wartime. I don't think there's a difference, though, because that is your choice. And you chose to sign up. And
I mean, a job is a job.
Exactly.
If benefits come with a job, you should...
But that really has changed in the last 30 or 40 years, because I know people who were in Vietnam who didn't fly a certain number of missions didn't get quite the benefits as if they had flown.
Yeah.
And
So
we
that
do
has
thank
really
you for your
changed.
call and also for your service. That's...
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Well, we won't keep you on the hot seat any longer. I thank you so much for being with us. And actually, come on up, Damien. Make an on-air appearance. Give Mama a hug. She did a wonderful job. And you're an amazing woman. And
Thank you.
You are.
We thank you for coming on and talking with us.
Please keep
And-
in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll see you at the Suburban.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, I can. Sorry.
I think she's capable
Yeah,
of
we have pictures.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes, tell us about... Ooh, put the mic back on. So
There we go.
all right, who is this is you and...
That's actually myself and my father.
Oh, look at you, snappy dresser.
That was actually the 16th of May at my retirement ceremony in Walter Reed.
Ah,
So,
Wow.
What's the next picture?
and
Oh, there we go.
this is my sister and my brother. That is also at the retirement ceremony down in Maryland. And that is
nice.
Master Sergeant Howard. She is actually in the reserve component, and she is actually my clinical social worker down in Maryland. And the lady on the left is Teresa Benincourt, who is a wounded warrior's spouse.
Wow.
Wonderful.
And I think there's one more.
Is there?
Oh, there's...
That's
it.
it.
Awesome. Again, thank you
Thank
for
you
being
so
with us.
much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you are bloody amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very
So
much.
kids.
Yeah.
Indeed. And thank you for joining us, Damien. Just quick.
Got it.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say, how did it feel to be at that ceremony?
Oh, it felt fantastic.
Thanks for being with us, and
Thank you.
you have a wonderful evening, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. All right.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Yes, do too.
Oh,
She's got her priorities straight.
now, whoops, crawl under. Let's lighten the mood for one moment, and there's been something on the interwebs lately. Roll that video.
That's not me making that noise, it's the mask!
Here, listen.
She's my favorite.
She is the internet's new hero.
I have watched that video 6 times and I still laugh like it's the first time.
I love what she says. I kind of feel like driving around like this. Wait, I'm gonna let you walk. I'll talk.
I have this. I really hope this is not a ploy by Kohl's, like some weird viral marketing thing.
Yeah, like
but
come to Kohl's, we'll give you free stuff.
indeed, and she
right?
did get like a delivery.
Yeah,
of one
everybody
of
got a mask.
but
Oh my
but
gosh.
I don't care. It's still one of the funniest darn things that
Oh
I've
my gosh, it's so good.
ever seen.
I love her.
My goodness.
I like that
If we
lady.
hadn't had if our show had a bigger budget, we'd all be wearing those for the show.
How fun
Indeed.
is that, man? I'm already doing a
Yes,
Star Wars
our
fan
dream
that
is
way.
to open the show
Try
all in
Amazon.
Chewbacca masks, but
And
Yeah.
on Amazon.
we have to do
Amazon
some
can
fundraising
do
for
that.
that.
$40
I'm gonna wear
too,
mine
man,
purring.
Do we want to do a surprise topic or do we want to skip that?
Your choice, Ching.
Oh
we
my
missed you
goodness.
last time, so you.
Yes.
Well, roll
You're
that
running the
intro. Chewbacca. Well, that isn't my surprise topic, though. Since we are a program of miscellany, I thought I'd just come up with some miscellaneous things here. Now, what I have to say is I tried to find top 10 lists, and I found that empirical data is no longer readily available. There's a lot of opinion. So nothing I have on this paper is empirical. It is all someone's opinion. I'm not
all
even sure
BuzzFeed.
whose.
BuzzFeed.
It's all BuzzFeed.
No, the first one is from Drinks International.
Ooh.
I want you each to tell me one of the top 10 best-selling cocktails. Since
Oh,
Martini.
gin and tonic.
yes, what kind?
Vodka martini.
Dirty.
Who drinks a vodka martini?
I don't anymore, but
I don't drink any.
Dirty martinis.
just a regular, honest to God.
Well, actually,
martini.
dry martini is in the top
Very
10.
dry.
Oh,
You
dry,
just kind of
okay.
wave the vermouth over
Yes,
the top of the glass.
the vermouth sits near the glass,
Right.
and oh my God, I had the most awful martini the other night. It was half vermouth.
Ew.
Oh,
It's like, what on earth are you doing?
That's gross.
Anyway, there's a world of cocktails. Pull one out.
Gin and tonic.
Oh no.
No?
Jack and Coke. That's not a cocktail.
My goodness. Well,
about a Manhattan.
Cosmopolitan.
Manhattan
Cosmo.
is on there.
Yeah, Cosmopolitan.
That is actually not on here, which
No,
surprises
That's because
me.
Sex in the City is
Mai
on.
Tai is on here. And
Mai Tai.
who has anyone ever
Isn't
known
that
anyone
blue?
to drink a Mai Tai?
I do my boss.
I've never
loves-
had a Mai Tai.
Well, and of course, number one, according to Drinks International, is JVin my favorites. Well, actually.
Old-fashioned.
Yes.
Really?
Old fashioned.
Nice. See, she would know though. She would know.
That's funny. I was gonna guess that, and I was like, nobody drinks those. I was
Now
wrong. I stand
I'm going to make
corrected.
this. I'm going to skip the second part of
You know,
this,
I've
but I'm
always
going to go to
wondered
the
what
last.
that's like. I'll have to try one.
I tried to find a list of least favorite words.
Oh wow.
Oh, I've
We
got
all
this.
know that moist is one.
Moist.
Everyone hates the word moist. What's you?
I was gonna say moist.
I was gonna say I don't really know any others that people are averse to.
Mulch.
Oh no, that's a good one.
Mulch
though.
is a
Mulch just
terrible
sounds
word.
wrong.
It's hard to say. It sounds
It's
like you're gonna
wrong.
mulch.
It's
Sounds
it's
like
hard mulch.
that's what it sounds like. Too. Like I
It
gotta
sounds like you're swallowing something
sick. I
unpleasant.
feel like I gotta mulch.
I'm gonna mulch
I don't know.
bed.
And
it sounds like to me.
on that note, phlegm is in this.
Phlegm is a
Phlegm,
nasty
yes.
word.
Yeah,
I didn't even
mucus.
spell
Here,
that.
I will go with my my short list here.
Okay.
Moist, of course.
Yeah.
Yeasty.
Ew, yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that
together
doesn't bring up good thoughts.
Bulbous.
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 Secrete.
Ew, that makes me think of like slimy snails and stuff.
Chunky.
I think that's a cute word, chunky.
Stout is the other one that goes with that. Remember, there used to be
Oh.
Young Man's Stout was a size my father used to buy. Young Man's Stout. I mean, he was just fat.
Stout.
Actually, I've been in a conversation with Kirk. When he was a
Young
young
man
boy,
stout?
no, when he was a young man, he used to get the chunky section.
Chunky.
He was not pleased with that. And the last one that I have here, and I panties.
Panties. I love that word, panties. I think that's
I think it's a love it or hate it word.
See, I have a word. When I teach horticulture, we talk about turgidity.
Oh,
Turgidity.
see, I like that.
When a
sounds like a
plant
fancy word.
has water pressure, it's turgid.
Yeah, well,
It's
I don't know if I like that word.
It's
I
so
think
close
that's
to
just
Jamie's
turgidity.
favorite word. Jamie's favorite word, which is from the film, I guess it was in the book too, To Kill a Mockingbird. Timidity.
Oh,
Temerity.
temerity. That's a good word.
Temerity.
Temerity. It's a good word.
And I think he loves it just because the way Gregory Peck says
But
it.
it's so fancy, right?
But all right, roll that outro. We've done with this topic. Oh, look at that. We're back and I'm reading. Yes, I should check the Twitter. Remember, you can call us at 610-378-0426 or tweet us at She Tweets to Me. Oh, we have a tweet.
We have a tweet?
Jamie's supposed to... Oh, Margarita.
Margarita.
Yes, exclamation
Cha
point.
cha cha.
That's us.
Shall we prepare for the next guest?
Sure.
All right. There was, given the chaos in the world of late. Here, I'm doing the thing that Jamie really hates when I do. Sure, Joan's not too pleased in the truth either. Here, we'll just get rid of that.
Stop ruffling.
Stop shuffling your paper.
No
My
more ruffles.
God, no one likes the sound of a ruffling paper. What time is it? Okay.
We still got a whole half hour.
We do.
tonight.
Sorry, we've gone off the deep end for just a moment. We'll be swimming towards the surface soon. First, I want to talk about this because I think this needs to be talked about. Toilets, bathrooms.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Here we go.
Oh, everyone.
I'm
Hershey
ready.
Park.
I pre-ranted in the bathroom.
No, really. I mean, with all the things going on in the world that we should be concerned about, how absurd. Really.
Well, I mean, in people's homes, you get one bathroom
Exactly.
sometimes, and it doesn't matter. It's not like a
Exactly.
boys' and a girls' room.
Exactly.
It is a created fear. It is
Exactly.
a created issue.
This is what this country seems to revel in, and just sort of it's in their engine right now, like gas for the
There's
country.
even
This
public
created
bathrooms that are
fear.
unisex.
And how many times, women, have we invaded the men's room because we didn't
there's
feel like
no-
staying?
Same. But not if there's sprinkles. I'll walk right out. I don't do the unisex bathroom if there's sprinkles on the seat. I'm out.
Now, personally, I prefer single stall bathrooms
Right.
because I like my privacy
Right.
when I go to the restroom.
Yeah.
But I don't care as long as you wash your hands. I don't really care.
Yeah, I
who
saw
you
that
are.
on somebody's
That's a big
Facebook.
problem.
It's like, as long as you wash your hands.
But we should
I don't
actually
care.
we should introduce our guest because he wants to jump in here and his lack of introduction is chafing at the bit. He's chafing at the bit to be introduced, and we love chafing. So,
Much better than moist or yeasty.
well, there you
Sometimes
go.
they're part and parcel.
So we have. Is it doctor? It is doctor.
Well, it is in more formal circles.
Well, forget that. It's Jeffrey Lupowitz, who I actually know because he does some work on me, and makes me a happier, healthier person.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Believe it or not, I just help him bring out what's already in there.
Aw.
Sometimes we just have to dig a little deep.
He takes the lid off my inner light and lets it shine. How's that?
I need that.
I could use some of that.
Indeed. Now, what did you want to say about the bathroom issue? Because I could see you.
I was just enjoying the ride. And I agree with you. any excuse for controversy in this country that's of a minor nature.
Exactly.
There we
The
go.
real issues we can't handle. So
Thank
we,
you.
we don't want to address.
Yeah.
Not that we can't handle.
And
I think that's beautiful
And speaking
said.
of addressing things, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on here is that you are actually it was in the Reading Eagle several weeks. It's a while now, about a month, 2 months ago now. Piece about your work with communication, which intrigued us because I think in aspects of all of our lives we have trouble talking to the people that we most frequently deal with. Tell us a little bit about
Violent communication.
Yes.
Non-violent. Well, we've all been trained from the time we're young to focus on what's wrong. What's wrong with ourselves, what's wrong with the other person, what's wrong with the world. And really, when you start to focus on feelings and needs and recognize emotions, and you start to recognize all of us humans have a commonality. We all have the same basic human needs. If I tell you I want to be loved, you get it because you want that too. Or I want security, or I want variety and excitement in my life. So we all relate on that level. And when we can express ourselves on that level, based on what I'm feeling and what I'm needing, and make requests rather than demands, we can be heard and have our needs met more easily, and we can hear other people more easily.
It seems to me that modern life is becoming more and more a competition. People are not actually listening to each other. We're just going for what we want. And that, does that seem?
A lot of pain. A lot of pain in the world. A lot of pain. Each of us has our pockets. We're not really given the tools of how to deal with that. And
How do we deal with that?
What I found, I facilitate healing as a doctor, a chiropractor, nutritionist, and what I found over years is that a key to facilitating healing is to be able to feel what's going on in us at any moment. And through emotion, again, it leads us to what our basic need is. All of our arguments in life are really about strategies, how I'm going to get what I want. Often we don't even know what it is we're seeking. We're not realizing, I just wanted connection. Or it wasn't about the money, it was about the security that it brought me, or the excitement I thought it would bring me. So the arguments are about the how-to, but on the basic level of what's really needed, there's no argument. We just all have a different priority at a different moment in time. But we need to understand a way to speak with each other. See, when I can hear that in you, I can go from being aggravated to being compassionate. Because one of the things, one of the basics of NVC, nonviolent communication, is that compassion is inherent in each of us. It's natural. And we actually, when our own needs are met, we enjoy giving. Contribution is a major need.
Go ahead.
I guess because I teach communications also, I think we're terrible listeners. And if we spent more time listening and less time thinking about what we were going to say next in a conversation, we'd be better off. And I think some of it is that we think too much about our own needs and less about, I find in my own life when I'm thinking more about what I can do to help other people meet their needs, I am less concerned about my own needs and find that I am much happier.
Yeah, beautiful.
How did we become such a selfish people? You think?
Good question.
I think we are becoming very isolated.
I think so too.
We're very isolated.
You know what I realized the other day? I took a short trip to New York City, where I used to live in New York. And what I realized is when you're in New York, you're constantly in the company of people. Subway, on the street, you have to deal with people, not as people as concept. And I've realized how much I missed that.
Yes.
The human
Yes.
contact. It's like there's nothing human about, as much as this, it's nice to keep in contact with people through this, there's nothing human about it.
I just read something too that seems to bear witness to what you're saying. In the New York Times today, there was an article about how many, the National Transportation Board and so forth, trying to get people to stop using the word accident when it comes to things that happen with cars, because we think of accidents as being something that is God-driven, something that we really had no control of. It just happened. And there are so many times when incidents with cars have nothing to do with accidents, but with me on my cell phone, or lighting a cigarette, or fixing my hair. And again, it's coming back to my needs rather than the needs of the people I'm driving around with, or who are driving on the same road I am. Mm-hmm. It's the same trap. But I love that idea that we need to talk about traffic incidents and not accidents, because they're not. Most of them aren't accidents anymore. They are done because of human failure rather than mechanical failure or weather.
I would say accident is probably in that context generally an outdated. And
yeah, well, that's what they're saying.
But I mean, more universally, accident seems to be.
Yeah, but they will report traffic accidents and using them when they're saying is stop using that word.
I'm down with that.
Now, how do you do what? Because how do we start communicating with each other? I mean, we listen, but I guess that opens the bigger question of how do we listen?
That was actually a very great way to ask that question, because a great place to start is listen for what the other person is feeling and what's the basic need that they have underneath that. And when you've got that, ask them if you've reflected back, So you were dismayed about hearing the misuse of the word around accidents because you'd like us to have a mutual understanding or something. Is that right?
Yes.
And it'll either be right on and
Exactly.
she feels hurt, or she'll say, well, no, I wasn't dismayed, I was really angry. But then you start to, and there's an energy to relating, which is why the technology, as great as it is, we don't have that connectedness in a heart way. I mean, some we do through messaging, Facebook, it provides some, but not in a let's be together, and if there's something deep to talk about, we're not afraid to go there without raising our voices.
I often have my students see if they can listen for 30 seconds in a conversation without interrupting. And the statistics that I use are most people can't listen for more than about 8 or 10 seconds without interrupting.
Excuse me?
Something, exactly, with just that kind of thing.
Yes.
And eager for answers that might come.
Right,
if they just
right.
wait.
But I mean, just giving me a chance to express myself without jumping in and having to say something.
I mean, as 3 teachers, I imagine that happens constantly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I sort of, in my classroom, I sort of welcome outburst. I mean, if I'm talking to kids about some concept, you can see a light, flick on, and I want them to have that eureka moment. I want them to be like, oh, is it kind of like this? So, and that's sort of my feedback. So I can say yes, or you're close. I think that's a good way to think about it. Let's look at it this way. So I don't know. I sort of welcome that
It's
communication.
not the same
back.
thing, though. It's what
No,
I was just going to say, I don't welcome
I
just
random while you were
random
talking. I
interruptions
said
at
yes,
all.
but while I was listening to you, which was totally unnecessary. Okay, I was interrupting. I was listening for probably 5 seconds, and then I said yes, but wanting to interrupt, and I didn't give a chance to say it. I know.
I find a lot of times when I find myself in conflict with a person, what I'm in conflict with is and this again goes to listening, but I am listening. I tend to be a good listener, I think.
Do you?
I'm
Ooh,
asking.
that was cruel.
I was
I'm
not
up to the-
challenging. I was asking.
Are you really?
Are you?
Toasted.
You think so, huh? Well,
That's how it sounded, wasn't it? That was awful. I'm sorry.
A little snarky.
and I love you, my darling.
My tone is a little flat. It was my delivery that was off. Sorry.
But what I find is I am putting my own concept of what the other person, it's what someone is saying to me is being translated through my own concept of what they are saying to me rather than what they are actually saying to me. And I find that often leads to, I'm looking at Jamie because we often have conflicted conversations, and it's most of the time it's because we're misinterpreting each other because we're coming at it from a point of throwing our own crap onto what the other person's saying.
Right.
Projecting.
Right.
Yeah. This is a point of
Yeah,
contention
like when
with
you're
me and my
mad,
husband.
you're trying. It's hard to listen when you have one thing in your head.
How do you
get it.
quiet that little voice in your head that wants to interpret everything wrongly? In 5 words or less.
A quick tip summary is not going to be, but I can deliver something you could practice with 2 aspects. One would be, and I've said it now 3 times, listen to the person's feelings and needs, and then offer a reflection back. So through the whole story, however many minutes the person's talked, where are they really? The intention with this is huge. You want to have open-hearted compassion. And then take your best guess. Are you feeling whatever? And are you really wanting this whatever? And then get a reflection back. They'll tell you yes or no. And this is huge also. To focus on expressing ourselves in those terms. Rather than, and my wife would not typically call in. We may be hearing from her any minute when I say this. I was big on telling long stories. Now I just tell shorter stories. But when I bring myself back to presence, I'm feeling this because I'm really wanting this. And then I'll have a request. Would you be willing to do this, or is this a good time to talk about this? And it makes all the difference because then, opening hearts, and there can be, because we argue about the content, but the real content is, where are you at and where am I at? But we're doing all this all the time because, we're not being heard, and we're all in pain in different ways. So thanks for the opportunity to share that. I appreciate that.
Oh, certainly. And actually, tell us a little bit about your practice, since we have you here, and I think it's marvelous.
Well, I do an interesting hybrid compilation of chiropractic methods of how to look at where a person's at ease through their spine. Spine is like the window to our life force. And a chiropractor named Epstein years ago was able to pull from many different ways of analyzing to where we could really, in a few moments, feel where a person's at ease and where they're not, and where their body's open to communication through touch. So I touch the spine, the unconscious brain gets to look at how it's holding its spine, which dictates our perception in life, and reorient immediately from fight or flight, stress, fear that the person didn't even maybe realize they were carrying, to a more upright posture, one of ease, presence, hey, I'm here to play and engage in my world. And, unwinding patterns of a lifetime, it's many steps, but the first step is usually the hardest, and once we take the first step and have some intention, the rest unfolds magically, and you've certainly experienced that.
I have. I was a little put off the time you touched one place on my back and you jumped back in horror, but no, that didn't happen, of course. but
Oh, Jane, you're such a kidder.
I'm nothing if not a kidder. I have to. RV has said if he's definitely. I assume it's yes. He has a beard, so I assume it's a he. If I'm desperate enough to use a public bathroom, I wouldn't care if there's a rabid zebra in there. I've got bigger concerns.
Here.
There you go, sir.
I would simply implode. I'm very fussy about the bathroom. Not
You don't want
that it's
to
male or
know
female.
zebras.
No, I'm just.
What don't we know about ourselves that we should know?
That's a trick question.
That's a really rough question.
Wow.
It
Yeah,
is,
that's-
but I think he's a man who can succinctly come up with something universal.
My immediate thought was that to answer that question would be awfully pretentious. I think wiser for us to go inside and see what we feel and come from our heart, and then life gets a lot different.
Love that. Now, if people want to contact you, how does that happen?
Dr. Jeffrey Lupowitz, West Lawn. The website is doctor, spelled out, Jeffrey, JEFFREY.com. And I know when I was invited on here a couple months ago, we had no idea, but it so happens I'm scheduling a communication from the heart, communication that connects people, a day-long workshop on June 11 would be a Saturday.
Excellent.
So if people are interested,
And there's information on that on the website?
the website, I'll have my email, doclupo, DOCLUPO, @gmail.com.
Wonderful.
And, if you have questions or want info, I'm available. It's
Another
a real treat to be with you gals.
It was
Treat to have you.
it was great having you
Thank
here. And if you want to stick around while we throw some other topic in here, you can. Speaking, because this is the thing that so frequently upends our daily lives. What's your favorite news source, or TV, media, internet? Internet,
Yeah, because it's on the go.
newspapers.
Some people aren't home to read papers or watch TV.
Well, indeed.
I'm a little juxtaposition of multiples. I don't really do print anymore. I don't have time for it, and print doesn't come to my house. And I really wish I did do that. Maybe that's something I need to work on. But I I watch the news in the morning. I've done that since I was in middle school. I get
Where do
ready
you watch the news? On what?
on my TV,
But on what channel?
Channel 8,
Which is?
WGAL.
Well, I mean, depending on where you watch
like
the
this
news, it makes a difference.
Oh
what
yeah,
you see.
well, this is very true. I just watch one of the morning news stations. WGAL, I think, is what I watch. It's the one I like the most. It's
Right,
I like
right.
the newscasters
I
the
mean,
best.
you understand.
It's okay. I'm not, watch whatever one you want. But I've done that since I was in middle school. I get ready to the news in the morning, and then I do. I've done it since I was like, I know, like since I was 12 years old. Sorry, nerd flag is flying,
Love
but
it.
I like it. It's something, and if I don't get to do that, my day is off. Like I need to do
That's
that.
your routine.
That's my routine.
news.
And then through the day, I have news on my phone, so things.
Do you
will
think news
flash
junkies
across.
are more stressed than?
They have to be. They know everything,
Well, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a news junkie.
aren't you?
I would start.
I'm a news
You
junkie.
can't start your day without it.
Well,
it's
I'd
just-
start my day
Well,
with it. Yeah.
I want to make sure this happens. So you had something you wanted to
Yeah,
to
this
announce.
Sunday, the 29th, at the 5th Street Applebee's from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. They're doing a pancake fundraiser for Pennsylvania Walk for Hearing. My friend's son is actually doing a fundraiser for Team Pablo. So if you have nothing to do between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. I'm sorry, at the Fifth Street
That's
Applebee's.
a lot of pancakes.
Come
Until
yeah.
10 p.m.
Yeah. 10 a.m. Sorry. 10 a.m. Yeah, they're
great.
doing a fundraiser. So tickets are $7 a person.
And how do we find information about this? Is there
You just go. I mean,
go.
if you're interested in tickets, you can contact me and I can gladly hook you up with tickets. But
But you can get them
you
there.
can get them at
Right.
the door.
That's great.
They're selling them there.
great.
So
Anybody else have anything coming up? That's...
This Wednesday is the Why Nots.
why not? That's right.
Tell us about the Why Nots quickly.
The Why Nots is
Why not?
Why not? It's Tony's backwards, so it's the schools musicals from Berks County come together at Performing Arts Center, right? Yes.
The SPAC.
Yes.
Speaking of words that we are unpleasant.
Right.
The SPAC.
And they just get to highlight one more time their shows and celebrate the kids, and that's
It's a fun night.
It's a good time.
Cool.
It's
Anything
like an
for you,
award
Martha?
ceremony, right?
But I think the important
No,
thing
I
is
don't. No.
highlighting
I
the
don't. I'm
kids.
sorry. No, I'm just kind of winding down, I think.
I have nothing either, so we're the homebodies.
We are.
And there's also, remember, January. It's so far off, or so long ago. June 11th.
June 11th.
drjeffrey.com.
Yes.
.com?
Yes.
And when's our next show?
Our next show, oh, you didn't write that down on here, did you? Yes, you did. Our next show is
small
Monday,
print.
June 27th at 9 p.m., of course. And remember, you can always go to twss.tv to find us, our weekly ongoing sort of dialogue. I do a little moment of Jane thing from time to time that you can find on
Facebook Live again.
That's fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
I like
Oh,
that.
indeed. We'll do that again.
I've
Oops.
never done that. I was
Oh,
terrified.
best little whorehouse in Texas.
That's
at
right, at
Delicious
Delicious.
June 15th.
Thank you, Becca. I know that was her.
And you can always visit us at She Posts to Me on Facebook if you haven't found us there. And let me actually, speaking of Facebook, let me turn this on and do another live to close this show. Oh my goodness.
I like that. That's
Status. Talk amongst yourselves while I pull this up.
Jane,
She's getting it. There we go.
Keep talking.
we're talking. We're talking.
Anyone see anything good in the news lately?
You tell us. You're the newsfeed. I'm going to have a piece of cheese.
He said talk, not silence.
I can tell you it's going to get into the 80s this week. We're going to have a warm week, ladies and gentlemen.
Finally.
There's our wonderful crew waiting to happen.
Yeah.
By the way, who do we have out there? We have, of course, Amber and Joan. Got it right. Jessica, Josh, and Kelly on the cameras.
Thank you.
And let's see, who's Jessica? You're Jessica, you're Kelly, and you're Josh. Welcome to the show. And of course, our Jamie. There's Heather and Damien. And here we are. Oops, we have two people watching this. Isn't this fascinating TV?
Two people!
Watching us go live on Facebook as we close the show. And now, remember, June 27th at 9. Thank you, BCTV. Thank you for being with us,
Thank you.
viewers, and we love you. Thank you to our guests, Jeffrey Lupowitz and Heather Miller. Good night.